My thesis for this project was to discover if I can design a tiny house that's tailored to my living needs, to use creative design features to provide enough space for my more niche interests, and to do so within a reasonable budget. The need for this project stems from the poor state of the housing industry. People my age can't afford to buy houses, rental properties are expensive, and housing in general is scarce. Tiny homes are an affordable and accessible alternative to traditional housing. They're better for the environment, you can move them if they're built on a trailer, and since they have less square footage, they can give you more outdoor space on a smaller, less expensive piece of land. When I selected this project, I also thought designing a tiny house would be more manageable with our time frame than designing a standard home. This project proved me wrong immediately. There was a lot of specific research I needed to do to design a tiny house on wheels. Types of trailers, building codes, materials, weight, zoning, common design features, tow vehicles, building methods, and environmental features are all a big part of tiny house design. To begin my project, I reached out to a company called Tiny House Basics to get a quote on the cost of the trailer specifications I wanted to use. I finally decided on a 34-foot by 8-foot 3 inches gooseneck trailer with an 8-foot gooseneck that was valued at just over 11 grand. Since weight is also a significant consideration for tiny house design, choosing a gooseneck trailer gave me a higher end gross vehicle weight rating of around 21,000 pounds. Since the trailer weight is estimated at around 7,000 pounds, this gave me approximately 14,000 pounds of load capacity to work with. However, with the limited time frame, it wasn't very realistic to perfectly keep track of weight for this project, so instead I made a few key design decisions to keep the weight on the lower end. The design process mostly consisted of making decisions about what kind of features I wanted to include and where, and tweaking design features along the way to provide enough space and adhere to building codes. The first decision I made was to use a steel frame. While accounting for weight in every aspect of this project was nearly impossible, using metal framing, roofing, and subsiding would help to reduce weight. Steel framing is on the rise for tiny houses and cuts down on the final weight of the structure by about 30%. Another important decision was to utilize the gooseneck section of the trailer as an office. Since I spend most of my time working at my desk, I wanted an office space that would feel private, spacious, and provide plenty of storage for various equipment. The office design also features a large built-in L-shaped desk made from live edge lumber for a sleek look and plenty of surface area. And 2 standard windows provide an exit in case of emergency. Since the gooseneck was taken, I decided to add a rear loft to use as the bedroom. These are extremely common in longer tiny house models and provide extra privacy and comfort. Building codes added to the International Residential Code in 2018 also accommodate lower ceiling lofts if there is a means of egress, so my design features 2 large windows that open onto the roof of a potential porch. To access the loft, I also included a ladder that can be folded up and attached to the ceiling when it isn't in use. I decided to use the midsection of the trailer as the living room. I tend to prefer wide open living spaces, and as I mentioned in my photo essay, the trifold door would open up the space even more during nice weather and provide extra space for entertaining. The smallest spaces in the design are the bathroom and kitchen. They're mostly practical but still include nice features like a breakfast nook and plenty of windows for natural lighting. Since storage is very important in tiny houses, I tried to add cabinets and drawers everywhere there is free space, or leave large empty spaces for extra cabinets and drawers. This is most prominent in the office space, but I also included drawers in the stairs, kitchen and bathroom cabinets, and a closet in the bedroom. These design decisions should give me everything I need: 3 workspaces, a nice bedroom, a decent sized living room for entertaining, and plenty of storage. The floor plan details the lower and upper levels of the living space and provides detail on built-in features like the office desk, kitchen table, and various appliances. I also thought a section view would be helpful to get a feel for the scale of the space, so I also drew up left and right sections of the house length, which shows the floor plan features and especially the storage in further detail. The elevations detail the various grades and exterior design of the home, along with the small utility box at the rear. It also features a hatch pattern that shows a rough idea of the siding design. I thought the combination of cedar and steel was very pleasing, so I selected steel roofing and cedar siding with a strip of steel across the center of the home. I love striking exterior design elements, so while the exterior design of my house is simple, a complex cedar pattern would add a lot of texture. The electrical plan is very straightforward and would give a simple guideline for the electrician, since I decided to hire a contractor in my cost estimate. I chose to include a ceiling fan, plenty of can lights, and a decent number of outlets in the office, kitchen, and bedroom. I also added several on the exterior of the home. The electrician would also likely be hired to install the solar system kit as well. The furniture plan provides a general idea of how I intend to furnish the space. I added a full bed and television in the bedroom, a few chairs in the office and kitchen, and a simple living room setup that would allow enough space for a pull-out couch if guests were staying. I also opted for a projector and curtains over the large trifold door in the living room to provide a large television without losing any bookshelf or window space on the walls. Since I don't have a plot of land for this project, I decided to approach the landscape plan in a more theoretical way. I knew that the various landscape features I'd like to include would be substantial and likely exceed my budget, so the core of this project focuses on the tiny house design itself. However, over time, I would ideally like to add on several porches for entertaining, an outdoor patio and kitchen area, a shed for yard work tools and a lawnmower, a gravel driveway, and of course, a garden. The landscape plan also details how solar panels could be set up on the property. The budget is comprised of specific items I chose for the home, in addition to estimates based on the square footage of materials such as flooring, siding, framing members, and so on. With a budget of $100,000, the estimated cost for this project came out to $67,949.01. Estimates were taken from Lowe's, Home Depot, and other retailers. I adjusted for around 10% waste and occasionally used items with higher end pricing like live edge lumber for desks and countertops. While the end cost is higher than the average $30,000 to $60,000 for tiny houses, this is still much more affordable than a standard home. Costs could also be kept much lower by shopping around for different base trailer quotes and selecting the most affordable one, using reclaimed and secondhand materials, appliances, and furniture, and handling certain tasks like plumbing installation myself. Considering that quality materials are used in the quote, I still find this to be very affordable. My design utilizes both grid power and traditional water lines, as well as some self-sustaining methods. In my budget, I selected a waterless electric toilet, a rainwater collection tank, an off-grid solar power system containing 6 panels, and a window air conditioning and heating unit rated at 25,000 BTUs. Power can run off solar on sunny days and revert to the grid as a backup. Primary water would come from water lines, with rainwater as a backup in case of emergency and to water the garden. My design also features large doors and windows, most of which that open, along with 2 rooftop vents for extra ventilation, so windows can be used in fall and spring months to cut down on AC consumption. While these design features aren't fully net zero or off-grid by any means, they do cut down significantly on my environmental footprint, save on utility costs, and allow for fully net zero conversions in the future. While this design obviously could be improved upon, I think I accomplished what I set out to do with this project, and I'm very satisfied with the result. Tiny homes are an interesting and expansive subject that I wanted to dive into for a while now, but haven't had the time to do so. Not only did this project give me the opportunity to explore an interest, but it also allowed me to entertain the idea of building and living in my own tiny home one day, and allowed me to come up with a first draft of what that design could look like and how much it may cost. This definitely isn't a final draft by any means, but it's a good starting point should I pursue this housing option in the future, and I'll let you know if I ever build one.